the warning of the Russian economy to the rest of the world. Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we will talk about the warning of the Russian economy to the rest of the world. It is no secret that the Russian economy is not in the best shape. For years, the country has been struggling to keep up with the rest of the world. But now, it seems like the country's financial problems are starting to have an effect on the rest of the world. In a recent article, The Economist warned that the Russian economy is a ticking time bomb that could have devastating consequences for the global economy. The article cites Russia's large population, its vast reserves of oil and gas, and its nuclear arsenal as some of the reasons why the country's financial troubles could have a big impact on the rest of the world. So what can be done to prevent the Russian economy from causing a global economic crisis? That's what we'll explore in this video. The Russian economy is shrinking, according to independent analysis by the World Bank, International Monetary Fund and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. 2022 will be a bad year for the Russian economy. Gross domestic product, GDP, is expected to drop by at least 5.5% in the best scenario to almost 9% in the worst scenario. Declining trade, soaring inflation. The restrictive measures target the import and export of certain goods. The list of banned products is designed to maximize the negative impact of the sanctions on the Russian economy, while limiting the consequences for EU businesses and citizens. Figures are proving that these restrictive measures are bringing results. Both the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund estimate that in 2022 Russian trade in goods and services will decline significantly. The current state of the Russian economy. The Russian economy is in a state of flux. While it's been able to weather the storms of sanctions and low oil prices in recent years, the outlook is not optimistic. The IMF has warned that Russia's economy could contract by as much as 1% in 2020. Due to a combination of weak oil prices and continued sanctions. This would be a major blow to an already struggling economy, and could have ripple effects throughout the world. The Russian economy is highly dependent on oil and gas exports, which make up a large portion of its GDP. However, these exports have been hit hard in recent years due to lower oil prices and sanctions. As a result, the Russian economy has been stagnant for several years. The IMF has warned that the Russian economy could contract by as much as 1% in 2020. Due to a combination of weak oil prices and continued sanctions. This would be a major blow to an already struggling economy, and could have ripple effects throughout the world. The Russian government has taken some steps to diversify the economy and reduce its dependence on oil and gas exports. But more needs to be done. In addition, it will be important for the Russian government to improve the business environment and attract more foreign investment. The reasons behind the current state of the Russian economy. The decline of the Russian economy has been a gradual process that began in the early 1990s. There are a number of factors that have contributed to this decline, including the collapse of the Soviet Union and the resulting loss of markets for Russian goods, the declining price of oil and other natural resources, which make up a large part of the Russian economy, corruption and mismanagement by the Russian government, economic sanctions imposed by the West in response to Russian actions in Ukraine. As a result of these factors, the Russian economy has shrunk by about 50% since 1991. While the Russian economy has begun to recover in recent years, it is still far below its peak level and faces significant challenges. The reasons for the current state of the Russian economy are manifold and stem from a variety of historical, political, and economic factors. How has the crisis affected the Russian people? The Russian economic crisis has had a profound and lasting effect on the Russian people. The country has experienced a sharp decline in living standards, with real wages falling by more than 40% since 2014. Poverty levels have increased sharply, and there has been a rise in social tensions and political instability. A principal factor enabling this assertiveness in recent years has been Russia's strong economic growth. Since 2008, though, Russia, like many other countries, has experienced a deep economic crisis. The question is how this crisis might affect Russia's domestic politics and foreign policy and, consequently, whether any change is warranted in US policy toward Moscow. The crisis has also hit hard at the heart of Russian society, with families struggling to make ends meet and many people losing their jobs. The health system has been under severe strain, with budget cuts leading to hospital closures and a shortage of medicines. The warning of the Russian economy to the rest of the world. The Russian economy is in a state of crisis, and this is having a knock-on effect on the global economy. Russia is a major player in the global economy, and its problems are having an impact on other countries. The main problem facing the Russian economy is falling oil prices. Russia is a major oil producer, and it relies heavily on oil exports for revenue. However, oil prices have been falling for several years, and this has hit the Russian economy hard. In 2015, the Russian economy shrank by 3.7%, and it is forecast to shrink further in 2016. This is having a knock-on effect on other countries, as lower demand for Russian oil hits their economies too. The fall in oil prices has also led to inflation in Russia. Prices have risen by around 15% since 2014, and this is putting pressure on consumers. Wage growth has not kept pace with inflation, so people's real incomes are falling. This is leading to discontent among the population, which could lead to social unrest. The problems facing the Russian economy are serious, and they are having an impact on the rest of the world. Other economies are being affected by falling demand for Russian oil, and by rising prices for imported goods from Russia. The situation highlights the importance of diversifying one's economy, so that one is not overly reliant on any one sector or commodity. How the current state of the Russian economy can impact the rest of the world. The Russian economy is the 12th largest in the world, with a nominal GDP of $1.3 trillion. It is also the 6th largest economy by purchasing power parity, PPP. However, the country is currently in a recession, with its GDP having contracted by 3.7% in 2015. This has led to a number of negative impacts on the rest of the world. For one, the current state of the Russian economy has led to decreased demand for commodities, particularly oil and gas. This has had a ripple effect on commodity exporting countries such as Canada, Brazil, and Venezuela, all of which have seen their economies contract as a result. Additionally, the recession in Russia has led to increased capital flight, further weakening the country's economy. This capital flight has put downward pressure on global asset prices, and has led to increased volatility in financial markets around the world. In addition to these direct impacts, the current state of the Russian economy also carries with it a number of risks for the rest of the world. Given its large size and importance in global affairs, any further deterioration in Russia's economic situation could have serious repercussions for global stability and growth. Additionally, Russia's recent military interventions in Ukraine and Syria have added to tensions between East and West, further heightening economic risks. As such, it is important for policymakers and businesses around the world to closely monitor developments in Russia, and take appropriate measures to mitigate any potential impacts on their own economies. How does the current state of the Russian economy impact the US and its citizens? The current state of the Russian economy has a number of impacts on the United States and its citizens. First, the recession in Russia has led to decreased demand for commodities, particularly oil and gas. This has put downward pressure on global energy prices, which has benefited consumers in the United States. Additionally, the capital flight from Russia has led to increased volatility in financial markets around the world. While this may have caused some short-term disruptions, overall it has been positive for the US economy as it has led to lower interest rates and increased investment. Second, the current state of the Russian economy carries with it a number of risks for the United States. Given its large size and importance in global affairs, any further deterioration in Russia's economic situation could have serious repercussions for global stability and growth. Additionally, Russia's recent military interventions in Ukraine and Syria have added to tensions between East and West, further heightening economic risks. As such, it is important for policymakers and businesses in the United States to closely monitor developments in Russia, and take appropriate measures to mitigate any potential impacts on their own economies. So this was our today's video. I hope you all like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel, and also share it with your friends and family. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.